have a phone, you have a phone you could use for this? So this phone is running very slowly and it can't restart because the power button is on.
It doesn't have a soft restart feature in it. What is app? With my phone.
But you don't have the app on it too.
Let me try restart.
I'm trying to, but there's a code.
Oh, so you have to get
I'm gonna go back to Vance and restart on the system. But as I said to you, I was to set it up. Yeah, I'm on it.
morning. Hey, Carmen.
Carmen, your shoes are fierce. I don't think that's working. Some of this working.
Charlie said the input device already, right?
Did?
Right, set it in the operating system. Factor on. Sound
Was it the auto clean?
input.
Is this one?
Thank you, Angela, and welcome everyone to our service this morning. Welcome to our hearts and welcome to our sanctuary, those who are joining us here in the sanctuary today. My name is Vance Gardiner, and I'm your host for the service this morning. So please join me in this opening affirmative prayer. Let us know with me now. That's all God. One, living presence almighty, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. And we are all glorious expressions of this one. I know that this event this morning is the manifestation of a perfect idea from the mind of this one. So I know that this experience is an uplifting, enriching, consciousness expanding experience for everyone who participates. And indeed, the entire cosmos is blessed this morning. And I know our speaker this morning allows herself to be a clear and open channel for the expression of this one. So I know our words are inspiring. Our words are encouraging. Our words are uplifting. And I know our souls are stirred this morning, and we are truly, truly blessed. So I just release these words into that perfect law that make it so. And I give thanks that all this is so, and so it is. Our inspirational reading this morning is from the Sands of Mind magazine. And it's from this month, January 2021. And it's from the 11th of January. And it's entitled Possibilities. All that matters is to be at one with the loving God, or to be a creation in the house of the God of light. And this is from The Enlightened Heart, page 153. Also, in the epigraph, we will constantly expand and increase in knowledge and understanding. And this is from Ernest Holmes. And it's from the Sands of Mind, textbook, page 271. In a go-to world, we really like to think in terms of possibilities. And when we are in that mode, we are a lot less inclined to remain attached to the situations as they are. We seem more curious, even more adventurous perhaps, especially if there are folks around us who are excited by possibilities also. Because possible does not necessarily mean probable. There is often a lot more flexibility present when looking toward the future, and possibilities always involve the future. What is it that could actually happen rather than what is slated to happen? If we want to consider ourselves as possibility thinkers, we need to be willing to unsettle ourselves, to be all right with not knowing the outcomes of some of our plans and ideas. We would be willing to let our thoughts actually soar, to let our imaginations go crazy at times. It has been said that God can be found in possibilities, which is an idea that generates mountains of excitement and wonder. If we are to expand our ideas of ourselves and become more creative, there need to be a lot more letting go of the status quo in us. How much more can we actually become? Certainly, the possibilities are endless. And I'm going to do the affirmation, and it says, in deepest peace, love, and gratitude, I give thanks for the gifts of spirit that come to me each day. You could just repeat that. In deepest peace, love, and gratitude, I give thanks. In deepest peace, love, and gratitude, I give thanks for the gifts of spirit that come to me each day. I am truly open to greater awareness and the wonderful being that I am becoming. And so it is. So now I'm going to ask you to stand for our praise song, which is found on page 2 in your programs of those in the sanctuary and on the screen for those who are joining us online. It's life is for living. I'm going to ask you to remain standing for the prayer of our center. No, the prayer of our center. Prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And so it is. Yeah, you may be seated. I'm now going to light the youth candle. Blessing for the youth of the world. We love you. We appreciate you. We see the Christ in you, and we see you as shining lights onto your world. God is blessing you now, and so it is. I'm going to ask you to stand again for our mission song. John is here, so I didn't have to say the And now it's time for our announcements. Our flowers this week reflect the creativity of spirit expressing through Mrs. Judith Deere, using flowers donated by loving members of our community. This gesture is a wonderful way to mark special occasions such as birthdays and anniversary. Thank you, Judith, and all our flower angels. Discovery. This morning on Facebook Live at 10:30. Let me say that again, 10:30. Join Reverend John Scott and Reverend Michael Record for Discovery. The lively conversation about what we have on our minds. Today's topic will be, how can Sons of Mind help our world leaders? Services. You are invited to spend a few quiet moments in the garden with Reverend John every Monday morning at 6 a.m. on Facebook Live. That is Eastern Standard Time. And please join us again on Facebook Live for our Spiritual Mind Healing Service on Tuesday at 6 p.m. This week our speaker will be practitioner Sandra Cooper. And it is a special day in our hearts, as it would have been the birthday of our beloved founder, Dr. Elmer Lumsden. She was born the same week as Ernest Holmes. Well, in terms of birthday, not literally. Prayer Power on Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. You can enjoy an hour of fellowship at Prayer Power, a circle of prayer whose purpose is to facilitate spiritual growth. Anyone is free to participate and experience the benefits of spontaneous prayer. Prayer Power also utilizes Zoom. You will need to let us know so we can send you the link. Classes. Make Sons of Mind classes your spiritual enrichment for 2021. Reverend John Scott's face-to-face class on mental equivalent continues this Thursday, January 28th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as of Thursday, January 28th, Reverend Ann Shand and Reverend Sonia Davidson will continue the series entitled Revealing Wholeness from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Zoom. Classes for non-residents of Jamaica cost cost $16 US for non-members and $10 US for members, payable through PayPal on our Facebook page. For Jamaican residents, classes cost, that is $1,600 for non-members and $1,200 for members, payable at our office or to our savings account, number 20941 at the Bank of Nova Scotia, Knoxwood Boulevard. You can register by emailing or by calling the office at 876-946-2230. Now, youth service. Now, we're looking forward to next week's Sunday, January 31st at 9 a.m. That will be our youth service. It is an imaginative and inspiring service designed and conducted by our Temple youth. And I know you don't want to miss it. Services at the Temple. Please remember to call our office at 876-946-2230 if you are intended to attend our Sunday celebration in person. As you know, congregants attending must wear a face mask and observe the prescribed protocols. Please also remember to maintain physical distancing and to leave the premises as quickly as possible after the service. If you can't bless us with your presence on a Sunday, you can still be with us in consciousness as our services continue to be live streamed on Facebook Live. Prayer support. We continue to respond with prayer to the challenges of this special time. Today, a practitioner will be available to pray with you during a 15-minute period immediately following our services every Sunday. The practitioner on duty today is practitioner Sandra Cooper, and the number is 876-289-0907. Sorry. You can listen to an inspiring prayer by calling our prayer line 876-978-1167. And if you wish to speak in person with one of our ministers, they may be reached at 876-289-0907 from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, Monday to Fridays. Excuse me. You can also phone in your prayer requests into our office at 876-927-6145 or 876-946-2230. Or you can email us at templeoflight@cwjamaica.com. You may drop off your prayer requests, tithes, offerings, and special appointments for practitioner assistance. If you feel moved to support our ministry of love and light, your loving gifts may be transferred to our savings account number 20941, Bank of Nova Scotia, New Kingston branch. Viewers who join us on Facebook Live, please visit the Home tab on our Facebook page, and you will find the link to our PayPal donate button in the top post. If you are worshiping with us in person, there's a basket on either side of the podium in which you can place your offerings as you exit the sanctuary. This concludes the announcements. Please join me in singing our first hymn, Sing a Song, on page 3 or on the screen for those on Facebook. Please stand. Please be seated. And now it's time to welcome our speaker this morning, practitioner Jennifer Livingstone, lovingly called Livy Jen by our practitioners because She's a living gem, indeed. So please help me to welcome Jennifer Livingstone.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, Livy Jen. And I'll just give you an aside. It's amazing how that name has morphed, because before, when I was Jennifer Williams, I was Willie Jen. And here I am today, Livy Jen. So, hey, it works. I'd like to add my own words of welcome to all of you, and very especially to those who are tuned into this service on our Facebook Live. I want to thank Vance for actually exchanging dates with me for Practitioners Sunday, because I was scheduled for December and I was unavoidably going to be out of town. And so I was to be his assistant this morning, so fancy me assisting my own self. But he stepped right in, so thank you, Vance, for setting the tone for this morning's service. And as always, it is truly a joy for me to share with you from the podium in whatever capacity I'm asked to do. So friends, today is January 24th, and already the year has gone 3 weeks, and yet it's still a brand new year, filled with the anticipation of what good will unfold in our lives this year. And for many of us, this is an opportunity to do something new, something we have never done before. Can you think of something you want to do that you have never done before? I am sure you can. So keep that thought in mind, for it is with this feeling of wanting to have a new experience that I have titled my talk this morning, A New Adventure Begins. The idea for this talk came from a reading that was sent to me by my husband, Carl, from the Daily Motivator, done by Ralph Marston, and it reads as follows. The adventure begins. What you've worked toward your whole life, you've now attained. Certainly, it's not exactly the way you imagined, but that just makes it even better. Your most authentic priorities have brought you to this moment, to this situation. You've successfully created a unique and valuable set of experiences. Perhaps you're thrilled about how it has gone and what you've done. Or maybe you're disappointed about some of it or much of it. Either way, now is your time to put it all to a newer, higher, more enlightened use. Here you are with the wisdom and experience to live more richly than ever. Consider all the opportunities you've had and smile to yourself, because no matter how they all turned out, you are greeted with an ever better opportunity. End of that reading. So now is your chance to move forward with understanding, with purpose, with love. Now the adventure begins. And here you are, ready to give it everything you have. You see, friends, having completed our New Year's spiritual goal-setting workshop earlier this year with our pastor, Reverend John Scott, and practitioner Sandra Cooper, in which we set our intentions to thrive in 2021. And if you missed the workshop on January 4th, you missed a lot. For us to confidently move forward to have a new experience, we must be willing to do the mental work. Nothing outside there is going to change until we make those changes within. It begins with us, first of all, by changing our thoughts. Science of Mind 101. This is the basis of our teaching. Change your thinking, change your life. We cannot expect to have a new adventure if we are still in the old way of thinking and the old way of being. Dr. Ernest Holmes, founder of this teaching, tells us, change the idea of a thing and you will change the thing. And in his book, Creative Mind and Success, he reminds us that the activity of our mind is thought, and we're always acting because we're always thinking. He goes on to state, and I quote, "At all times, we are either drawing things to us or we are pushing them away from us." End quote. In the same vein, author Louise Hay, in her book, Heart Thoughts, states, "What is important in this moment is what you are choosing to think and believe and say right now. These words and thoughts will create your future. Your thoughts form the experiences of tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year." End of that quote. Then, having put the universe on notice, it always finds ways to provide you with the information that you need. For as I was preparing for this talk, I received a WhatsApp message of a YouTube service by Dr. Barbara Waterhouse, co-founding minister with her husband, Reverend Dr. John B. Waterhouse, of Centers for Spiritual Living, Asheville, North Carolina, in which she was talking about clarity and demonstration. And she emphasized the point that we needed to be clear in our thinking, as it is just as easy to demonstrate what we do not want in our experience as it is to demonstrate what we do want. I invite you, if you have a chance, to look at that YouTube talk. It has quite a lot of gems in it. So as we embark on our new adventure this year, having been clear about our intentions, at those times when the goal may seem to be taking longer than anticipated, or may not be turning out quite the way we had expected, what is it that will sustain us and keep us believing that we can achieve them? At those times, we will also need to have faith that things are working out as it should. And I want to spend some time also examining this matter of faith. You see, many of us come to faith as a last resort. Oftentimes, we will try everything in our conscious power to make things happen. And when all else fails, we have no alternatives but to trust. And for some of us, faith comes as a result of a dramatic experience, while for others, it develops gradually. But it doesn't matter, however, how we come to exercise this faith. As practitioners of this teaching, which we all are in studying the science of mind, we know that there is a universal law which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. This energy can only respond by correspondence. And what this means is that the measure of our faith in infinite good is the measure of our capacity to draw from it. So this is why Jesus, the master teacher, said, "It is done unto you as you believe." It is according to our faith that life demonstrates through us. We are all familiar with the biblical passage. In Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1, the King James Version states, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." The biblical reference in this passage is often quoted as a description of what faith is. But what exactly is it? Faith has been recognized as a power throughout the ages, whether it is faith in God, faith in oneself, in one's fellow man, as outlined in this entire chapter of Hebrews 11, it speaks to the idea of faith being embodied by many of the persons written about in the Old Testament, such as Noah, Abram, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, and Moses. It therefore indicates that the idea and acceptance of faith existed even before the teachings of Jesus, the master teacher. In the Science of Mind textbook, Dr. Holmes further expounds on this passage by stating, and I quote, "The thought of faith molds the undifferentiated substance and brings into manifestation the thing which was fashioned in the mind. This is how our faith brings our desires to pass," end quote. We are fully aware that this substance is all around us. It's equally and evenly present and available to all. The degree to which we manifest our desires is dependent on our belief and acceptance of the good. In the book Spiritual Fitness by Caroline Reynolds, it's called Spiritual Fitness, How to Live in Truth and Trust, a course we offered here at the temple some time ago. She states, "It's on this issue of all pervasiveness many people stop short. Having dipped their toes into the deep waters of faith, they trust enough to allow an angel to find them a parking space. Yet when it comes to the more serious issues of finances and career, for example, they will prefer to take the matter into their own hands," end quote. She then references the book A Course in Miracles, one we also did here at the temple. And this tells us that we cannot serve two masters. You can't have a bit of faith for the smaller things in life, but none for the bigger ones. You see, faith is an absolute, and as such it demands your complete belief in and obedience to a higher power. If you use faith in some area of your life and fear-based reason in others, you will actually negate the effects of your faith throughout. Dr. Holmes, in the book called Can We Talk to God, says that if we wish to prove that there is a spiritual principle which we may definitely use, let us forego any sense of coercion and become as a little child in receptivity. Let us definitely and consciously accept our good and continue accepting until we experience it. This brings me to a story which was first shared with us by our founding minister, Dr. Elma Lumsden, as we mentioned her birthday coming up this week. And many of you may have heard it before, but it's worth repeating. And it's the story of a little boy who asked his parents for a bicycle for Christmas. And although he was told by his parents that they couldn't afford it, the little boy kept riding up and down through the house every day on his imaginary bicycle. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And around he went. This went on for weeks. Then just around the time approaching the holidays, a neighbor down the street came by one afternoon, rang the doorbell, and said to the mother, "We will be moving house and we are packing, but our son has now outgrown his bicycle, and we were wondering if you would accept it for your son." The mother was so overcome as she accepted the generous gift. Oh, the faith of little children. My friends, a good-natured flexibility with one's own self and a faith persisting in the face of anything which would contradict it is the only way to approach our life and affairs. As we continue to examine this matter of faith within our own experience, we find that there is no one way to describe it. Often it is based on our feelings of hopefulness or hopelessness. You see, we can easily demonstrate our most fervent desires when we are feeling positive, optimistic, and full of joy. And at these times, our faith can sustain us, and it is enough to see us through. But on the other hand, when we are feeling less than hopeful, and we cannot see our way, at times our faith is diluted. Yes, it is precisely at those times when we feel less than hopeful that we are reminded by the teachings of Jesus, as stated in Luke 17 in the King James Version at verse 6. And it says, "If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye might say unto this sycamore tree, Be thou plucked up by the root, and be thou planted in the sea, and it shall obey you." End of that reading. In my own experience, I have seen where faith has carried me through many challenges, such as when I sustained a broken ankle and was in a cast for 8 weeks, having to move around on crutches. As difficult as that was, I had faith in that power which is greater than I am, and in my ability to make it through. So I was able to heal much faster than expected, and I was out of the cast. So as we exercise our faith and we get ready to take on our new adventure, we must also remember to mindfully plot our path ahead. Last January 2020, in the Science of Mind magazine, this story was shared with us by our then spiritual leader, our past spiritual leader, Dr. Ken Gordon, past spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living. And he shared the story of an exchange he had with a gentleman at a conference he had attended. And he said the gentleman told him this story about a friend he used to ride motorcycles with. The man said that it is common for bikers, when on a road trip, to take turns going in the lead. However, on one such trip, the gentleman said he noticed his friend never once took the lead. When he asked him about it, the friend apologized and explained that he was diagnosed with early onset dementia, and that his problem wasn't that he didn't know where he was going. He was quite aware of where he was and where he was headed, but the issue was he could no longer envision the route to get there. Friends, I hope that none of us are in the early stages of dementia, but I share this story with you for you to see the importance of us having a plan and a vision and of where it is we want to get to this year. So while the new year will bring us new adventures, we must be mindful that we are not just going along without a clear direction, and that will happen by committing ourselves to become more deeply grounded in the principles of the science of mind and to apply them in our daily lives. So we must do our spiritual practices, the affirmative prayers, meditation, journaling, and our daily readings. These will guide us every step of the way. We should also have our affirmations ready, which we can use in times of need. And let me share with you 2 such affirmations. I'll read each one once and then have you repeat after me. So here's the first. No matter the challenges I may encounter this year, I know I can remain in faith. Repeat after me. No matter the challenges I may encounter this year, I know I can remain in faith. And the second is, I have complete confidence. I do not waver or falter in my faith, for I know that God is the only presence and the only power there is. I'll break it down. I have complete confidence. I do not waver in my faith. For I know that God is the only power and the only presence there is. And if we really believe that, let's hear it again. I have complete confidence. I do not waver or falter in my faith. For I know that God is the only presence and the only power there is. And so it is. So as we contemplate our new adventure this year, here are 4 questions we should each ask ourselves. And I'd like you to write down your answers, whatever is the first thought that comes to you. Are you ready? If you have a piece of paper handy or your program. And those of you online, write the questions down. You don't have to answer them now, but make a note of them. And our first question is, what would you like to do for yourself this year that you did not do for yourself last year? Have you got that? What would you like to do for yourself this year that you did not do for yourself last year? And the second is, what would you like to let go of this year that you clung to so tightly last year? Again, what would you like to let go of this year that you clung to so tightly last year? And the third, what can you do for yourself this year in a positive way? Again, what can you do for yourself this year in a positive way? And the fourth question is, are you willing to do the work that will bring about these changes? Again, are you willing to do the work that will bring about these changes? My friends, I want to ask you to share the responses. These are for you to take home with you, to ponder some more, and see what comes up for you. Then you can journal about it when doing your spiritual practice. My friends, in closing, if we want to make our New Year's goals come true and really begin our new adventure, then I'd like to invite you to join me in this reading by Dr. Ernest Holmes. It's an excerpt from a talk entitled, How to Make New Year's Resolutions Come True, and it's from his series, This Thing Called Life, and shared with us by the Science of Mind archives. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes and listen. We can say, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my strength. My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. I am lifting up my whole thought to the inflow of divine strength and wisdom. And I do believe that today and tomorrow and every day I am in silent partnership with God. I believe that the Spirit goes before me and prepares the way. I believe that every doorway is open, that new opportunities are presenting themselves, new ideas are coming into my mind. I am meeting new situations. This whole new year shall be filled with success, love and happiness and friendship, and I expect this to happen. I anticipate it, and I gladly share everything I have with others. Divine intelligence flows through me, causing me to think and to act in such a way as to bring good into my experience and into the experience of everyone with whom I deal. I am one with the infinite presence. I am one with the eternal good. I am in partnership with all the presence there is. And so it is. Let us see ourselves affirming this every day of this new year as our good unfolds and our new adventure begins. Namaste. Thank you, friends. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our musical item this morning, and I feel very specially blessed, and it's a treat for all of us. So I'd like to invite Hanif Lalu to come up for our musical item. Please help me welcome him.
Morning.
Thank you so much, Hanif. Thank you so much. And to the tech team for providing the music, thank you so much. Awesome. Climb every mountain. I know I can't even come off that mountain top. Please stand and join me in the prayer of Jamaica. And that's on page 4 of your program, page 3, I'm sorry. Together, the radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truth of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is. And I'd like to invite you now to take our love offering in our hands as we say our love offering blessing. On the envelope, and for those of you on live stream, it's on the screen. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And so, as we give thanks for the gifts that has come into the center this morning, we give thanks for our coming together, for the sharing of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We give thanks for every activity that has been shared in this morning's service. I know that for each person that has allowed themselves to participate in this morning's service, I know for them that this experience has lifted them up to a new and a higher calling. I know that as this new year unfolds and each one of us embark on our new adventure, I know for us more good, more joy, more love, more peace, more harmony than that which has gone before. And so as we go through this week, we take this consciousness with us. I know for each of us that our pathways are made safe, secure, successful, and easy. And I give thanks, I truly give thanks as I release this word to that law of mind that has already made it so. Thank you, God, that this is so now, and so it is. And please join me in the peace song. Peace. so much. A love-filled, peace-filled week for you. And we invite you to join us on Tuesday for practitioner service with practitioner Sandra Cooper. Remember, we're celebrating Dr. Elmer's birthday as well. And also to join us on Thursday for Lifeline and our prayer power. And join us next Sunday for Youth Sunday. It will be awesome. And please remember to stay for this morning's discovery session with Reverend John Scott and Reverend Michael Record. Topic is, what can Science of Mind do for our leaders? We thank you. Have a wonderful week. So glad that you could be here. Namaste.